Yeah, we can start. Join అనే వాళ్ళు జాయిన్ అవుతారు మళ్ళీ. So, hi, good morning. So today's session, we will do some practice session and we will revise the some date and number functions only. Okay, yesterday we went little fast and I didn't cover some of the basics, very basics. So I just noted some of the basics from my book, and if we complete all these things, you will get some idea, basic idea behind why we are using, how to use these things. And at the end of the session, we will query the data from the employee table. Okay. Yeah, so the first thing is, so we are working on the date functions today. Date functions, not number. After dates, numbers also we will see. But thing is, how dates will work internally, how it will store, while fetching, in which format it will we will get, and while storing, which format it will store. So that thing, why we are using YY. Yesterday I was telling like RR format is there, RR and RR, RR. Why we have to use this? Everything I'll cover. So to start with, Oracle stores the date in internal numeric format. Internal numeric format means Oracle date standard format. Somewhere I have written here this one. DDMONYY is the basic standard date format. Whenever you inserting or fetching data, let's suppose select star from dual, select sysdate from dual. So sysdate is the date function. Okay, sysdate is the date function we will use with a dummy table. uh, Mosin, dual is the dummy table provided by Oracle. So we can use internally to get some values or print some values instead of going to the real-time employee or department table or something like that. If you see here, this is the format we are getting by default when you run sysdate. Okay. So if at all, if you want in different format, sysdate is the date type, date date type column it is. Okay, not the character. Let's come to this default date. Internal date format. It stores internal date format means when you do to care of this particular date, we can print century of the year, century, year, month, day, hour, minute, and seconds. So these many values we can print from dual table by using sysdate function. So this is the level of values we will get, and this is the values it will store internally into the database. So sysdate, which is the date function which returns the current date and time, not only date. So dummy table we will use. So what is date arithmetic actually? Date arithmetic in the sense, let's suppose I am doing normal arithmetic operations. Number 1 plus 1 from dual. What I'll get? 2, right? Select 3 minus 2 from dual. What I'll get? 1. Select minus 5 plus 2 from dual. Minus 3. Same way, we can play with the date functions, date values also. Let's suppose, what is the days between yesterday and today? What is the day number of days? 1 day, right? So this 1 day, how to get this 1 day? Select sysdate plus 1 minus sysdate from dual. 1 day. Sysdate plus 1 means we are, if not, sysdate minus 1 minus sysdate, what will happen? Minus 1 day. So we are getting days between yesterday, tomorrow's date and today's date. So that's why we got 1 day in between, right? Same way, how many days for year, how many days for month, how many days for a week, everything we will get by using date arithmetic function, arithmetic calculations in dates. So one more basic thing you need to consider in Oracle, week starts from Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So internally, for each day, it stores with one unique number 1 to 7. If you go and query, select to care of sysdate, comma D from dual. 4. What is date today? I think it's Wednesday, right? So yeah, Wednesday means 1, 2, 3, 4. That is how Oracle system knows which number and how to calculate internally based on these values for week. Okay. So let's come to the here. Date plus number, it will return date. Date minus number, whatever I explained just now. So date minus number means is date minus 1, it will give some date, yesterday's date. Date minus date, number of days in between that particular dates. Date plus number by 24, return date. By 24 means 24 hours it is. Add number of hours to the date. We can do these arithmetic operations and by using dates itself. That is my intention to tell you. So we can add hours to the date also. Okay. Yeah, date functions. So these are the basic things before start to the date functions. So now, what are the date functions available? Oracle predefined date functions. Add months. What exactly add months? Add months here, this is the date. N is the number of days. So what exactly? Sysdate, comma 1, add underscore months. It is adding, today's date is 26/08/26, right? Exact month day, month of next month date it will return. 2 months. Okay. And if at all, if you want to get the month October or any other format, we have to use to care of, because this is date. I want in a different format of this date, whatever I'm getting. You need to give the specific format here. DD, MON, TH, YY, from dual. These are the next nested functions we call it. See, 26th October 2026 we received the. So this is how we will do internally. We'll use Oracle predefined functions, date functions. So anything to care to date, just simply you blindly try to remember to date function which converts character to date format. Simple. To care function, to care function, for two items it will work, two ways it will work. From number to works on number, it will convert from number to character, and also date, date to character. So both ways, in both places, we will use these to care and to date functions. Okay, two number is different. We'll check that later. So and the conversion functions, only these three functions we have: to number, to char, and to date. Okay. Yeah. Now coming to topic. So add months, it will add that many number of months to the given date and a number. Months between means how many months are there in particular number of months, where it will help. Let's suppose select star from EMP, employee table is there. I want to get the experience of this particular employee. So high date is there. So based on the high date, So whenever joining, if we have joining date, we can calculate our experience, right? How many years since when the join date is there, that many days we are working. That is the experience. How to get the experience? Select e name, comma, from EMP. This is the alias. So Mohsin, for you, this point is like, so this we call it as a alias to the employee table. It's nothing but surname, we call it as a second name. Means Mohsin means some other, some people will call, your friends will call with a different name, right? Short name. Same way, if at all, if you want to, I mean, get the columns from this particular employee table, need not to go and fetch columns like employee name or something like that. We are giving the reference with this alias name. Employee space e means e is the alias name to the employee table. So we are using this alias name in the projection area select statement. Now e dot hide date, comma, months between sysdate, comma, e dot idate from dual. Let me run this. Sorry, from EMP, right? See, how many months are there? We got, it's nothing but experience in months. So we are getting some random value 537 months from the high date as of today. After that, we are getting some random value, right? What exactly this means? Today, we are in IST time zone and it's around 7:30 a.m. in the morning. So that time also it will calculate the sys date means today's current date and time it will take. That's why it is giving this number. So how to remove these numbers? So yesterday we were discussing round, right? Round of this. So we don't want any, this is not a real number. If it is a real number, may 537.30 we will take. This is not the salary or something else. So this is the experience of the employee. So we just do a round on this so that it will give exact number 537 months. So I want in year. How to get in years? By 12, if you do 44 years. Okay, this is the 44. He is having 44 from 81 to this means 44 years, 75 days or something like that. So this is how we need to use nested functions and months between function with sys date and high date to get the experience of particular employee. So this is how we need to practice individually in real time. If we get any requirement, we should know where to use particular functions. Just I'm trying to understand you how many functions are there in dates and number functions so that you can easily remember when you write a real time code. So here next day means months between it's completed. Next day. Observe here. Select next underscore day sysdate, comma, or I will take Monday, MON, from dual. What is the next Monday? 31st August, right? Coming Monday, it will give. Next day itself telling like next working day. Whatever the day we will give, let's suppose. So we will give 2 days, Wednesday, right? Wednesday will give what it will give. Second, next Wednesday. So that is how it will work in the week. Whatever the day we are giving, the next working day, same weekday it will give. You understand, right? Next day. So what is the last day? Last day is nothing but in the month. What is the last working day? Select last. It's a last day. Yes, last day of sys date. Nothing we need to give from here. Neglect 31st August is the last working day. Yeah. So these are the functions. You just I'll try to execute these queries. You will understand from sysdate, day, month, and year. So this is the current day to sysday day round. Yeah. So why here I'm using round of sysdate, round of month, round of year. You observe the output, rounding the date, what it is exactly doing. Day means it will work on the week. Month means it will work on the month. Year means it will work on the year. So if you go to the calendar here, so our week starts at 23rd of August, right? So in the middle of we are in the middle of week, we are giving day. So it will give the current week start date. Okay. So now coming to sysdate month, then you may ask like why it went to the uh, next month of first date. Why? Because we are end of the month. We are in end of the month. Okay, end of the week. That's why there is a range. Okay, if it is the date, it will go to the first day of the week. Sys date, if it is if we are in the 5th of August or something, if we are doing rounding, it will go and give the first 8 only. Okay, sys date. If you see here sys date, we are in the last quarter of the year. That's why it went to the next year. You observe. Okay, so coming to trunk. What exactly it is doing trunk, it won't bother actually whether I need to go to front, back or something. It will give exact expected output. Trunk don't do anything. Trunk means by wo chop devo means cut karna bole to cut kar dega. Bas itna hai. So it is trunk of sysdate 26. Today's date is 20. Trunk of sysdate month. Okay. This month only. This year only. Nothing different. Same way, in number also, I'll do the same format, same on the number 123.567 round, comma, trunk of 123.567, comma 2, here, comma 2. You observe the output from dual. What exactly it did? It won't bother. Round means it won't bother. Just go and give me the last. Put the last 2 digits, not 3 digits, for this particular number 123.57. It given. Okay, sorry. I'm telling vice versa. Okay, trunk. It is giving same number 123.56. Whereas round, it will round to the next value. 7 is more than 5, so it will add to one number and 57 we received. If it is a 3, it won't round. We will get 56 only. See here. This won't change. If you give anything, it won't change. 123.56 only. Trunc means it will truncate the number or character, whatever. But round, it will do some modifications to the number as per this is the real arithmetic function on the number. Round on the date, round on the number. Till now, any doubts till here? Because we are moving to the conversions.
Yeah, hi sir.
Yeah, hi.
Um, can you do one more example on trunk and round?
Yeah, sure. Example on number or dates?
Dates are numbers like how it
Yeah,
uh,
okay.
we will use in real time scenarios.
Okay, real time scenario is same real time because let's suppose invoice amount is there. Uh, where exactly we will use, let's suppose we are paying invoice, we received invoice PDF from the customer that converted the amount from dollars to Indian rupee. So while converting Indian, we don't get exact numeric number, right? Some random number, like it will calculate based on that day conversion day rate of the conversion. What is the dollar rate? Based on that, round off. Let's suppose on that day we received 564.983 rupees. Okay, so I want a rounding off to this. What will happen? So 3 is less than 5, so it will keep 98 as is. Let's suppose I don't want to do 2 or something. I don't want any digits. What will happen? It is rounding to 565. Let's suppose even now also we should get 565 only. Okay. So only when the first number it is less than or greater than or equals to 5, then only it is adding. Same way in mathematics also we do the same, right? So now if you use 2, 2 means what is the expectation? Till here it is this 3 is less than or equals to 5. So we are expecting 564.28 only. Yes. Or if at all, if we change this to 8, 29 it should come. Whereas same example we will do with the trunk. Here expectation is 564.28 only. Yes, even though if you modify anything 3 3, it's 2 3. So this is how trunk and round will work. Simple. Yeah, real time. I
Okay.
told you right. The dollar conversion. That time, any if something value comes, then we will round the value.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So now the conversion functions. Before converting the function, let me give you the week of the day. Select to care of sys date, comma d from dl. What will happen? Let's d. I want to get the today is Wednesday, right? 4 I want to get. How to get that value? Which function we need to use? Okay, in single quotes we are giving. Yeah, yeah, single quote we need to give. Day, it's a Wednesday. If it is D, yeah. So where we use this is very important. This function took care of D because based on the I got a requirement in my BIP report or somewhere. I want to schedule a report on first odd numbers like even numbers 1, 3, 5, 7. So these 4 days I want to run a job at 6 a.m. Okay. On the even days, 2, 4, these 2 days, I want to run a job at 8 a.m. So that time I want what I will do internally, I'll write some PLSQL procedure or function by using this to care of sys date. Every time before checking or before scheduling the job, I'll check the sys date with D. What is the number I'm getting? Based on that number, I will schedule in the logic. You got it right. So that's why these numbers took care of these date conversion functions. It is very important. Whether if you give month, we will get the total month. Let me execute this. Month name we will get month day. Oh, we are executing around. No, 2char. If you do the same thing on the 2char, let me do 2char, 2char, 2char. What will happen? Yes. Wednesday, August 2026. You are getting in text, right? So this is the beauty of this 2char with date functions. Yeah, coming to yesterday, we were discussing YY, YY, and one more format is RR, comma, RR. What exactly it means? Let me execute one date function to care of sysdate, comma, dd, mon, yy. I'm giving only yy from dual. So what I received 26 August 26. If you put yy 2026 I received. So same function I'm copying. I'll use RR. Nothing is difference. Where exactly we will see the difference means, let me change these dates. Again, I'm copying same functions. Here I'll take the random date first, Jan 1999. Okay, sorry. Yeah, now we receive, right? So sysdate means what is the issue here? Here we need to use the to date actually. So this is where we will confuse. So sysdate is the date data type. So while fetching the data and displaying, I am converting it to 2char. Why I am using? Because sysdate internally stores what is the by default format. Date, mon, and yy is the default format. If you query direct sysdate, it will give from dual. It will give like this. So, but I want a user readable format 26 August to 2026. So that's where I need to convert this date to char. But whereas here I'm I'm taking in single quotes the date, which is the character type now. In single quotes we are using which is not the date type, which is the character. So that character we are converting and displaying as the date format. So that's why character to date conversion we need to use the to date function. So that's why so we received 99. Now again, if you want to see the difference, what is the difference between YY and RR, I'm again converting it to 2char format. So it will be little confusing. Just bear with me for a few minutes. Okay. So now I'm giving date. MONYYYY. What is the date we will get? See here, 1999. Why? Now I will use here YY. What we received? 2099. Why? The exact reason. So before explaining the difference between YY and RR, just try to understand this what we did. Till here, till here, what I did, I'll remove again. I'll remove this. So this is the character type. This is the character type. Let's suppose I'm displaying on one of the report by uh, querying the data from the database. Let's suppose it is available on the character column. I want to make sure this date type into different format. So that's where I used, I'm explicitly converting into the date format, and by using toDate function, I'm getting the value now, which is the date format. It is 010199. Okay. So I'm explicitly converting it. In the database, it will go and again it will store with the TD, MON, YY, HS24, MISS seconds, minutes and seconds. That is how it will store in the database. So how to check whether it is a 1999 or 2099? So before going to 99, let's take 26 only. Okay. What is 26 means? Whether it is 2026 or 1926? How we will know? So to get that information, again, you need to convert this date to toChar format in order to check YYYY format. Okay, simple. Date, sysdate is the date format. You are trying to get the format of the date. So, and we are giving the format here and using toChar function so that in 4 Ys format, we are able to see the data. Here it is a 2 Ys only, but I want to see whether it is 2026 or 1926. What is the date we are getting? In order to see that 4 Ys, so again, we need to convert this date format to toChar format, and we are giving the format here. The syntax is took care of some character and a date format, right? So up to here we are getting this date. Again, we are converting into some date format DD, MON, YY, YY. So what is the value we are getting? 2026 we will get. Whereas if we use the RR here, there is nothing difference. Difference where you will get difference here. If it is 99, 1999 it is taking, I'll copy here. I'll explain you. 1999, if you give the 99, it is going to 1999 here. Whereas if I use YY, it is going to 2099. So what makes the difference means YY every time consider current century only. Current century only. Okay. If at all if you use RR, it will go to the previous century. There are some numbers. I will share you the numbers range actually from 0 to, I don't remember exactly. Yeah, 0 to 49, it will take the current century. If it is from 50 to 99, it will take the previous century. If you use the RR, dates only differs when we are using the current century and the previous century values. That's where we can see the difference between RR and YY. We don't use RR in real time. I just want to know the century values will be differs if you use RR. Because it is common human tendency, like if I'm just putting 99, 99, what is whether it is take 2099 or 1999, because 2099 is a future value. It won't go and print the future value if we give the RR. Whereas if we give the YY, every time YY will work on the current century only, not the previous century. Okay? 2099 is current century, right? Yeah, that's why when you use the YY, we are getting to 2099. RR 1999 it is giving. I'll stop here. If you have any question, please let me know. Before that, don't concentrate, don't confuse on the RR part. So in real time, we use simply these four Ys are two Ys only. This is clear because we are not going to live till 2099 or again, we are not going to 1999. We don't get this situation. Okay. And one more point. In Oracle, they are considering this date range only. January 1st, 4712 BC to future dates 31st December 9999 year AD. Till this date range, it will consider and it will do the calculations and give the results. This is the basic. To char and to date is very simple, but don't be if it is a character type. Okay, sysdate is the date type. Every time is sysdate is the Oracle predefined function which will give the current date and time, which is a date data type. So if at all you need to give a user readable format like month, February, August, like that. If it is 0809 like that, you need to make sure to use the tochar function. We are converting date to character. If at all we are giving inserting the data, we are getting some from somewhere else 0808 2026, which is the character type. And if at all if you want to convert these or show on the report, we need to use the toDate function. This is about tochar and toDate functions. Okay. Do you have any doubts? Okay. So I'll just execute this. So now here I am giving 99 and 99 with 4 Ys and here I'm using RR. That's why I'm getting 1999. If you use Y, current century 2099. That is what I explained you. So remember the format used display date is not necessarily telling you that the full year stored in the date format. Okay, display 99 even though actually, okay, exactly, yeah. Okay. Yesterday I analyzed, I have a questions like, okay, why is there? Why we are using RR? That everything I went through the chat GPT and I noted the things. I practiced myself and I came today. You might getting the difference of yesterday's class and today's class, right? So yeah, input, if you give input 2026, it will return. Nothing difference. When you go to the less number, the old dates, that's where you can see the difference. If it is zeros, 2000, 2000 only. Okay. Yeah, these are the basics of the tochar and toNumber, sorry, toDate functions. Only the remaining part is toNumber. Okay. What exactly toNumber is? Let me execute this. ToNumber means simply we are converting character to number. How exactly it will work? Character to number. Can we? I'll ask you just a basic question. Swami's name is there in one of the column. Okay. Can we add one to this number? What is the expectation?
No, sir. This
No,
character.
no, right? So it doesn't mean always to number it will go and convert Swami to some number. No, it won't. So why we are using this character to number means sometimes what will happen in real time, let me execute this first before going to this. Okay. So this converted, this is the result I received 120. So simply, this is the whatever you will give in Oracle SQL in single quotes, which it will treat as a character data type only. But here, this character is nothing but internally it's a number, right? Whether if you take in single quotes or if you write directly, there is no change. That's why 100 place of this character type, it written as 120. Nothing difference. Whereas, so what exactly it did? It is concatenating this Swami with this particular value. So these are the okay. This is not related. We if you observe, we not used a two number function yet, but the conversion functions, two types of functions are there. Explicit functions. Sorry, this I should have explained you when session starts. So explicit functions and implicit functions. Implicit means Oracle predefined conversion, implicit conversion, explicit conversion. So implicit conversion means this is the example, implicit. Okay, this is the implicit conversion. What exactly it is doing? It is converting itself. No need to convert this 20 character value, which is giving in the single quotes to number. There is, we can use two number of this value. Let me execute this. 120. No need to explicitly convert to this number, because this is exactly number. Oracle will understand this. That's why without using explicit conversion function, implicitly it is converting itself and it is giving 120. And this is also, so character, this is the character type, and concatenating with this, it is giving like this. So whatever these two statements I executed here, implicitly it is understanding, okay, this is character type, this is character type. Okay, this is number, though it is a varchar value, it will treat as a number internally, and it is giving the result. So this is the implicit uh, conversion will did Oracle will do in SQL. Whatever we discussed, to char, to date, or to number, explicit conversion we call it as. You got it right. So sorry, first of all, these 2 points I need to cover. So we covered to char and to date functions. Let me go to the to number. And also, before go to the to number function conversion, so what exactly we are doing? Character to number we will convert, not not date type. Here date won't work. If I give some random date like 03 August 2026 or something, if you are trying to execute this, it won't convert. Date to number won't work. Character to number, character to number only work. It doesn't mean I can write like Swami. It won't work again. So then, sir, why, where exactly we will use? I'll tell you. So in real time, what will happen? Oracle will have varchar two columns, varchar two columns. We call it as a attribute. Most in yesterday, you are asking what is the attribute column, right? So attribute column is the additional columns available in Oracle standard tables, 1 to 20. In real time sessions, I'll show you the additional columns, we call it as. So in some of the columns, they will enter number values. Number values means anything, invoice amount or some count or whatever. Actually, a column is varchar, but user is entering some numeric value in that. So when you fetch the data, that's where you need to use to number function, because we are seeing by our eyes like 100 is the number, but which is storing into the varchar column. So in the database, it will treat like in single quotes only. It doesn't mean, okay, we are giving 100 value, it went to the database, which is exactly number type. No, whatever the type we are inserting the data, even though it is a number value, it will treat as a varchar only. Internally, it will go and insert with single quotes only. Okay, so it is a varchar column. So I want to get this value 100, and then I want to add something like 10% of hike or something, whatever. That time we have to use this two number. Internally, we are converting character data type to number and we are adding to 10 or something, whatever in the validation. So this is very simple function, nothing is there. From character to number, we will convert. Till here, do you have any doubts?
Yeah, I said.
Yeah, hi.
Um, so we are converting a character to number means like if it's stored internally in numbers, it will convert, or else it will not convert, right?
1 minute. Can you ask once again?
We are converting number type, right? Character to number.
Character number, yes.
Yeah, if the characters internally stored as numbers, it will convert, right? Or else it will not convert.
Exactly. If that number stores in character type only, it will convert. It's not a. I mean, if you convert, let me execute this. Select what will happen. Even I don't know. I need to check two number of 10. What will happen from dual? It will give 10 only. I think so. Yeah, 10. So there is no meaning, right? 10 is a number. Again, you are converting it to 10. What is the use of it? So for your question, it will go and sit into the varchar2 column, the number value. So that's where when you are doing some arithmetic operations like plus minus or 10% of hike, or when you are doing any calculation part, so that's where we will use this two number. And one more area I'll tell you. So in the where class, for each and every table, ID value is there. This is you will get in the join conditions, but I want to tell you, this is the place where exactly we will use most of the time 80% to two number functions uh, in the join conditions. Like one table will have ID, and another table same ID column will store in the varchar2 column. That time two number of that value, ID value, we will join. ID is the number type. So in the where condition, you need to compare value number to number only and character to character only, or else date to date. Then only you will get the records. So when you want to compare number to varchar2 column, but varchar2 column is having number value internally that you know, but system doesn't know. That time you need to use two number function of that particular column name, then number to number it converted. So this is where we will use. Don't bother if you don't understand this. So we'll cover this in the joins section. And yeah, one more topic is select uh, star from EMP. So how you are getting salary? 5,000. But when you write on the paper, what you do? 5 comma 3 digits, right? Or dot 00 like that. So how to get that format? So we have a facility in Oracle SQL to show the user expected format like e dot e name, comma, e dot salary, comma, uh, what is the function we need to use somewhere? My expectation is here 5,000 dot 00, comma, and dollars. Okay, if it is a 5 lakhs, then 500. Let me copy here. $5,000 means how you will write this way. But if it is 5 lakhs, then 5 lakhs. This is the 5 lakhs, right? So this is how numbers looks like when you download the statement from HDFC or whatever the statement values. Even though we habituated from the childhood, like 5,000 means 5 comma 3 zeros. If it is 3 10 lakhs means 10 comma 00, another comma will become, right? So how to get this format? There is a formatting we will write. We need to explicitly write. Let me write that function. So we need to use some function, comma, 99D 999 dot 99. So some function I need to use. Let me check in my. I just want you to know that this is available in our SQL, so that whenever situation comes in real time, you can use it. Numeric day. What is the date function? Yeah, group function. To care of. Okay. To care only we are using. To care. Let me run this. Okay. Aliasing and see. So externally, what we are doing here, we are converting the number to character type, and while converting, this is the I said like toChar will work for numbers and dates also in my first point here. toChar works on dates and numbers both. To date, this is the date conversion. What we are doing here, number to character format we are converting, and while converting, we want we are specific, we are declared given this format 99 comma 999 dot 00. If you remove this, it will give without zeros. So this is how we will give the format also. If it is, if you want dollar symbol, it will give the dollar. Okay. And one more way also we can give D. What it will give? No, this is not the correct. Comma D 99. D means decimal place actually. Yes. D means decimal. What will happen if I put 99? This 9. You can observe the difference. D means decimal actually. Okay. We can give either of the ways. D without using this, we can use dot and comma. Okay. So this is the conversion from number to char or character to number. So we can give the format also to the numbers. We can add dollar symbol and everything. So this is about the basics of Oracle predefined functions, character, number, date, and conversion functions also. To number, to char, and to date. Just go through the sessions again after completion of this and practice well. So we spent two sessions on the date and number conversion functions only. So if you practice, then we can start the aggregate functions. Till now, what we completed, single row functions only. If you go and check our third session, when we started the functions, single row functions, multi-row functions are there in Oracle. What exactly single row functions means? Single row functions will return as many number of records available. There are 14 records available in the system. In employee table, 14 types. We are displaying the data by using Oracle predefined functions, which are single row functions only. So whereas what is a multi-row function means? Multi-row function means we are the expectation is sum of total employees information I want. Let's suppose select a count of a star from the employee. Single record we'll get. Total 16 records are there in the employee table. Let's suppose I want to get the sum of total employee salary. 32,025 rupees, right? What is the total commission? What is the average of the salary? We'll discuss in tomorrow's class in detail, but I'm just telling what is the difference between single row function and multi-row function. Multi-row function will is nothing but aggregate functions. We call it as sum, count, average. These are the sum of the functions. And single row functions are the Oracle predefined functions which will return for every row. This is the basic difference between single row and multi-row functions. So we will continue a session tomorrow with starting with aggregate functions, what exactly aggregate functions and how to write. I mean, from now onwards, it will be, I mean, beautiful if you good enough with these sessions, 5 to 6 sessions, and if you are able to get write the simple select statement, we can add going forward. We will add these each and every point, whatever we discussed going forward sessions in one single select statement only. Let's suppose in interview, so get me the highest salaried employees only, or get me the 40th department highest salaried employee. So how to write that queries? In statements only they will ask, and means these are the very basic level questions, but I'm telling you to fulfill this requirement. Let's suppose user have a requirement to get the uh, today's creation records, and today the records whatever created today, creation date equals to sys date, and having salary greater than 10,000 rupees. Those employees only you fetch these employees and move to other instance, they will call it as. So that time you need to write a simple select statement with this thing select star from so and so table. In the where condition, we will write creation date equals this date and salary greater than 10,000, so that we will get the records. These records we will process to other system, or we can do the internal validation going forward. So we will add step by step to the concepts to the existing whatever we learned so far. I'll stop here for today. Please let me know if you have any blunder basic question also, not a problem. Even I practice myself to teach you. I spend more than 3 hours, if you believe or not. Okay, at least spend time whatever I am spending to teach you, requesting you. Just observe, use the dual table, dummy table, select to care 123.99. If you give 9 and what will give? Just random, do the R&D, research and development kind of thing. Play with the numbers, dates. Okay. Yeah, go ahead, please, if you have any doubts.
Hi, sir. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Uh, Sir, while installing SQL in my Mac OS, I'm getting conflicts. Can you help with me that?
Yeah, we'll connect. We'll connect. No issue.
Sure, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Call me after a few minutes, okay?
Sure, sir. Sure.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Manushree,
Hi, sir.
కొంచెం ప్రాక్టీస్ చేయమ్మా, ఓకేనా?
Yes, sir. Yes.
యా నీకు ఒకవేళ ఆర్కిల్ సెట్